Xbox Record This is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy DWALLY, Chipotle Bear, and BubbleBoy and Seven. This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy DWALLY here, and welcome to Xbox Record This episode 68. Joining me, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, BubbleBoy and Seven. BubbleBoy, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I am
Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the promotion. I don't know that it'll last more than one night, but I'm happy to be here, as always.
Yeah, thank you. Don't jinx it. By the way, it looks like you got punched in the face. It's like a weird shadow, and it looked like you had like a black cheek. It's weird. Now it's better. Thanks for zooming in on there. And joining us, as always, is the assistant to the co-host, who has recently been demoted. Chipotle Bear. Chipotle Bear, how are you?
I'll take the demotion because work has been so hectic. I got plenty to do there, so it is not a problem at all. But I do appreciate it. Otherwise, man, doing good, man. Ready for Friday tomorrow and a chance to catch up on some stuff. But okay.
All right, let's jump into it, guys. This is Xbox Record This, and we're a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. And so let's jump into a quick story. I didn't share this last time, and I need to share this. I need to get your opinions before we jump into the warm-up. Okay, I wrote on our notes, DWALLY and the Trash Man. Okay, so I need to share this with you. Do you guys around Christmas time receive postcards from your recycle man, and your trash man saying, "Hey, happy holidays. Send me a bonus." Do you receive those?
I don't get one that says "give me a bonus."
Okay, well,
I get none.
Okay.
I'm lucky if they take my trash every week.
Okay. So two different perspectives here. BubbleBoy, are you okay with getting said postcard saying "Happy Holidays? Just want you to know we're thankful for you, and here's my address."
I'm okay with the card I get because it's not pandering.
Okay, very nice. Okay, Jose, of course, I'm assuming you already said you don't get these. Yes, go ahead. What is your opinion on the pandering Merry Christmas card?
I'll be honest, I've never had that. That's not weird. I don't think that's a weird thing to do, but
It's
historically, my whole life, even when I lived with my parents as a kid, we typically do give something to like our trash people, to our mailman as a like, we do appreciate what you do for us. And honestly, like it was mostly beer, if I'm being totally honest. I'm not trying to be stereotypical, but I just liked the feeling of that, like you're on your trash route at work. Like I imagine, like obviously you can't in school because it's illegal, but if it wasn't, like how nice it would be for a parent to be like, I really appreciate it. Here's a bomber of something delicious or a 6-pack of something awesome.
Yes,
I would mean the world to me.
Though they're not asking you, right? They weren't asking your parents.
True.
Correct. It reminds me, let me jump in here real quick. It reminds me of when you go to get froyo and they have a little tip jar at the end of the froyo. Have you ever been to a froyo place where they did anything other than sit there at the end and take your money? No, they do nothing. I'm not tipping you.
Okay.
I'm not tipping you for doing absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Or just your job. And
yeah, so this ties into exactly what I want to talk about. So I got my first card from these garbage men when I was living in Parker. I'm like, okay, it was tasteful, and I was like, I see what you're doing here. Okay, you're giving me your address and saying, hey, don't forget about me around the holidays. I let it slide. I thought about giving them a tip, but didn't, because I didn't quite like the feeling of it. But like Jose said, I want to if it's deserved. And this is tying back into present day. So last year, I got these cards, and we had just moved in that October. And then, or was it 2 years? How many years have I been here? Who cares? I got it the first Christmas we were here. And I was like, it's a little soon, you guys. I don't know if you've earned this. I don't like this feeling. But you know what? I understand what you're saying. If you do a good job, of course, I will gladly remember you guys around the holidays. So just a few weeks ago, remember that giant TV I bought you guys with the 77-inch
one?
massive box?
Yeah, I was
old-
gonna say, I
the
can't
one that I
wait
kept,
to
the one
get
that's
them.
right next to me. The one's right. Anyway, the giant box, right? Guys, I need to set this up as well too. Every time it's a trash day, I'm always on the ball. My stuff is always out there. I even space them out to make sure the little thing can grab it and put it in. I try to not have any extra bags for them to load in, even though I'm allowed 5, right? I always do a good job keeping my trash in there. And I've
They
always
limit your bag number?
Yes, you have a 5 limit bag, waste management. So anyway, I've always been good about it, right? So the one time I put out this gigantic box in between the trash cans, again, cleanly, right there. Hey guys, can you take this big box for me? I really don't want to have to break it down. I know you can just get out and put it into your container that you dump into your trash can. What do, you guys?
You got a note on the door, didn't you?
No, they just
left
left
it and
it
they
there.
pooped in it.
They just left it there. First, the trash guy comes. I'm not getting that. Goes. Then the recycle. I'm okay. It's cardboard. Maybe the recycle guy gets it. Same thing. It's just tipped over halfway into the street when I get home. And I'm like, and you guys want a tip from me and you're sending me these cards? Yeah. F off.
And you
Sorry.
want to be my
exactly.
latex salesman.
It's
Yeah.
one thing, if they would have done it, absolutely. Guess who's getting a bonus this Christmas? But if you're not going to take it the one time I need you guys to take this gigantic box out, screw off, you bunch of cacas. You're never getting a bonus from me from now on. You had one chance, one opportunity, okay? I had to spend 30 minutes breaking down this stupid box and shoving it into my recycle thing and putting it into 5. The next week, I put it into 5 black light bags for them to load up. So I hope they got the picture or the hint. And Jose, tell me, am I crazy?
No.
Like, I feel like I handled this about as good as you can.
No, I think it's fine, man. My question for you, this is not I swear this is not like a brag point. What do you guys pay for trash? I'm just genuinely curious out in Elizabeth and in Green Mountain.
I don't remember, Jose. I think it's like $50.
It's rolled into our
months or
HOA,
something.
so I
Yeah.
have no idea.
See, I don't have an HOA, thank God.
So
I don't have
here's
to
the
worry
thing.
about
So I
that.
live in Denver, like Denver proper. Our trash has been free forever. Like when I lived up north, it was entirely free. And Chance, you probably remember. I don't know if you remember, Dan. When I lived up north, we had a dumpster, like a legit dumpster in our alley.
When I was at Regis, we did, yeah.
Yeah, and then when we moved down here to like South Denver, we now have a can, but it was free. And here's the interesting part, and why I brought it up, is that starting in January of this year, it is now going to cost us every month, and we can choose the size of our can. There are 3 options. I learned this the other day. One is like the smallest one, I think, is 9, then 13, and then 20. And so that includes recycling and compost, though. So like I'm not upset about that. I understand the economics of like if we want services, we have to pay for them. I'm happy to pay for my trash service. But similarly, I told you it's been very frustrating because I don't live like in the boonies at all. Like I'm in literally Denver. Like I'm in the center of like a major metropolitan stuff. But the way our road is, we're on the circle. We're not like on the main road, and they skip us. I kid you not, like 2 to 3 times every couple of months. Like they just don't come, and we'll call them like, hey, you didn't pick us up. Oh, okay, we'll send someone out. No one comes.
And then they don't come. Yep.
And that's the part that's very frustrating is like, especially now if we're going to start paying. And again, I felt bad complaining when it was free. Like,
nope,
they should do it, but it's free. So I have a hard time complaining. Now that we're paying, that's going to start to be a huge problem for us is like, dude, I just need you to take my trash. I don't even put extra stuff. I don't actually mind cutting up the cardboard. It's cathartic to me into nice little squares, and I make little piles and stuff.
Okay.
But that is going to be annoying to me.
No.
Sorry, side note. I know we're going.
Yeah, you got to get on that. And I know this is a bigger topic than I thought it was going to be, but rightfully so. Jose, you do technically pay for it. Your taxes somewhere, your property taxes, you're paying for them to come get your trash.
I was going to say,
so
you
make sure
they
more
more
than.
But it's different than paying a monthly fee. When the fact that
mine's
you get
not.
a bill,
mine's not that bad. Like I remember when they told me, I'm like, oh, okay, that's it. But I'm still paying, and they're still making a lot of money off of us. And I don't appreciate getting these cards if you're not even going to hook me up by putting in a cardboard box that one time I need you guys to go above and beyond. So
the one really cool thing I will
say
in defense of Denver is that we also get a large item pickup every 6 weeks.
Dude,
where literally they will take anything.
Wow, we get it twice a year, so that's impressive.
We literally, I mean, like I put
I probably don't even get
a week that got taken. I've seen people put out like ridiculous things, and they'll take those. So shout out to the item overhaul people.
Yeah,
we salute you.
Appreciate it.
But the general
Speaking of
people, you got
trash,
to pick it up.
we'll move on. I promise. We're going to talk about
Well,
video games
yeah,
eventually.
hold on though, because real quick, because even then, right? Even then, is all that tip worthy? Like, who aren't you tip? Do you tip your doctor?
Good point.
Why don't you tip your doctor? The work your doctor
Or my
does is
dentist?
infinitely better. Is he an anti-dentite though?
No,
Are
he's
you're an
not.
anti-dentite, aren't you? No.
No.
To be, I
Um,
mean, I'm not defending, but playing devil's advocate.
It's
Imagine
a
if they
different.
left
It's a
your
service
trash.
industry. Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
imagine if the doctor was like, you'll get over it.
all right,
I'm
that's
just
10
saying.
minutes on the trash guy. Let's move on. But quickly, great topic. I could talk about this for another 20 minutes. The brown infamous couch from your bachelor pad. It's as you can see, I don't know if you did notice, there's a nice new couch love seat over there. Do any of you guys
Wait,
want to
what?
reclaim it and bring it home? Does
Wait,
anyone want
that's
to?
it's a
not the.
negative,
That's
Ghost
not
Rider.
the. Oh.
No, yeah,
Let
no,
me talk
it's
to Ashley.
because I
Let me
remember
talk
you
to
asked about
Ashley.
before, and I had this one here that I've forgotten about, so
Yep.
or
Let
stored away.
me
So it's, I
let me
mean, it's
talk to
got
Ashley.
claw marks from the kitty, you know, on the sides. It's still comfortable, but a lot more fart mileage is on this for sure.
That's true.
And you know,
Ooh.
ask, but it's here. Otherwise, I'm destroying it. And speaking of big item pickup, I might bring it down to Jose and see if
No,
his.
but that was last week. You got 6 weeks now. Don't bring it down to my
Oh
house.
man. Let's move on. Again, we are an Xbox podcast. Should we do the warm up? Yeah, let's do the warm up. Let's jump into it, Bubble Boy. Tell us the warm up for this week.
Yeah, so the warm up, if you're not a huge Colorado Rockies fan, which I think is everybody on the planet, you may have missed a couple of days ago, the Rockies lost in one of the most embarrassing ways you can possibly lose a baseball game. Exactly.
Wait,
They,
Chance. I need to look this up. I still haven't seen it. Who was this against? I'm going to look up this highlight right away.
the
This was
Cardinals, and it gets even better
Rockies
since then.
versus Cardinals. Just okay. Sorry, I'm going to look it up.
So
While you
it
talk.
was bases loaded. They're in St. Louis, where they have lost the last 12 games in a row, by the way. I know, which for baseball, that shouldn't even be possible. Rockies against St. Louis. They're in the bottom of the ninth, bases loaded. They got a walk-off hit by pitch. So the Rockies pitcher beaned the Cardinals guy, and that guy got a walk-off hit by pitch. I tried looking up how many times that's happened, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was looking it up today, which is funny because I knew we were gonna talk about this topic. I mean, I'm so sick of the Rockies. The Rockies are like the Resident Evil 6 of Colorado sports teams. It's
Dang, that's
just
harsh, man.
Yeah, no. Oh no, you're right. Resident Evil 6. Oh, I thought you said 8 for a second there. No, he's absolutely right.
no. They're so bad. They're so frustrating. I need to start writing my yearly letters to Monfort again, and they're just so bad. But so then I was talking about, I was like, oh, that'd make a really good warm up for like, what are the most embarrassing ways to die in video games and the most frustrating ways to die in video games? I'm sure we may have all gone different paths with that, but then it got worse. So today, just today, as we're recording, Thursday, August 18th, the Rockies made history. They were the first team in Major League Baseball history, which baseball is nothing but stats. The
Well,
fact
sorry,
that this
repeat that. Repeat that.
the first team in Major League Baseball history.
To what?
I haven't told you yet.
Oh, I thought. Oh, sorry.
Sorry. They gave up a grand slam to a player 40 years or older, and 7 innings of no-hit baseball against a 40-year-old pitcher or older. So Adam Wainwright, yeah.
Oh,
Adam
Wainwright's a
Wainwright
beast.
went. I know, but he's over. Which I was like, oh god, he's over 40. And then of course the great Albert Pujols. That guy will be crushing bombs till he's like 60. But like still, I was just like, and of course on the radio they're like, the Rockies broke a record that has never been set before. They are the sole owners. I guess actually the Cardinals are the owner of this record. It happened against the Rockies, and they're just so bad. So bad.
And every year, everybody's like, "Oh, look at all the Rockies are killing it." But me and you, always in the nerd chat, I was like, "Okay, this is what they do. They start off fine, and then they're in last place when it matters. And this always happens right around the All-Star break. Just terrible." And Chance, you forgot to mention to set up that other loss. The guy bunted, by the way, and got on an errant throw right before that to make it
Didn't
even
even know
worse
that.
to end the
See?
game. Yes,
Yeah, of
awful,
course he did.
a bunt. They had easy play. Pitcher threw it. The pitcher pretty much blew it entirely that game. So yeah, go ahead, Bubble Boy. So what
Of
is your
course.
question for the
Of
warm up?
course he did. Well, so our warm up is, what are the most embarrassing or just like the oh my god ways to die in video games? And like I said, I imagine
Whoa!
we may.
Wait, Jose. I thought you said the worst ways to lose in real. And I put in games. I didn't understand this question. I have the worst losses I can remember in professional sports. Chance, is that okay?
Oh, that's okay.
Oh,
That was a
That's how it
misunderstanding.
was explained to me from Jose.
To be fair, I was pooping at the time, so I was like,
my God. All right. Well, I'll go first because
yeah, why
mine is
don't you
way
go
off.
first,
I'll go
Dave?
yeah, let
first.
Dad go first. Let Dad go
'cause
first.
I'll tie it into the sports talk. All right. So this is Daddy DWALLY's definitive top 5 most
Hold on, I
embarrassing
know the
ways.
one. It was Joe Flacco to what's his face, right?
Oh, don't worry. We're going to get to it.
Yep.
Number 5, the Bills losing with like 2 seconds left in the game against the Chiefs last year. I still don't understand how that happened. Like, honestly, totally embarrassing.
38 heart attacks I had.
Oh
during
my
it.
gosh, just they had the game won multiple times, choked it away. Typical Bills. I forget that this is just what the Bills do. Didn't they go to 4 straight Super Bowls, or am I incorrect? And lost all 4?
The 4 falls of Buffalo.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Excellent.
Number
30 for 30
4.
or 60, whatever.
Oh no, I just poor Bills. Number 4, Broncos getting destroyed in the Super Bowl by the Seahawks. We all knew that game was over as soon as the first offensive set for the Broncos. It went over Manning's head, not even ready.
Oh.
You knew it was over right then and there. They were just not ready for the swarming Seahawks defense. Ironically, now Russell Wilson as our quarterback, and maybe he can take us back to the promised land. Number 3, the Chiefs getting destroyed by the Buccaneers in the last. Not Super Bowl, but the one before that. Yeah, exactly. Just like we don't remember the Broncos getting absolutely annihilated. The good thing about the 2012 Super Bowl, though, chances, that's when Jack was back. That's when they randomly brought 24-hour. They did the commercial during that Super Bowl where he came back for that last season. So that was the best part of whatever Super Bowl that was. Number 2, the Broncos 2013. This is what Chance mentioned. Playoff loss to Joe Flacco over Raheem Moore's flailing arms as he's in front of the defense. The 2 defenders, for some reason, losing in double overtime after the Broncos were up. I went back and was watching some of this, Chance. Wow.
The Ravens had no business winning that game.
And ironically, though, they did win the Super Bowl that year. So they were,
which is fine,
the best,
because they already beat the best team. They
Yeah.
had beaten the Broncos, who were the clear favorites. So it didn't even matter past it, because that was that the 49ers. That was the Harbaugh, right? The Bros Bowl.
You're right.
Yeah,
correct. And this is, I wrote again, just absolutely horrendous. I will never forget Raheem Moore. What were they thinking, Chance? Just absolutely hideous. Okay. And then number 1, this happened to me 2 basketball seasons ago. DWALLY in an OGB super comeback. We were fighting back in the playoff game. We were down by like 13. I just hit 3 after 3 after 3 with less than 2 minutes to go. Steal the ball after I made a 3 with seconds. As seconds are expiring, I hit the shot to win the game. But for some reason, my teammate called a timeout. No shot. The shot is no good because he thought the clock was going to run out for 5 seconds. No, they ran out. Amateur hour. So bad. So they get the ball. We hack them. He misses the free throw. Or no, he makes one. So they're up 3. We get an inbound. I get a long pass with 2 seconds left. Take a dribble, pull up at the 3, nail the 3, you guys. I knew as soon as I shot it, I'm like, that's in. This is it. We're going to overtime, baby. My foot was on the line. 2 points.
I remember you told me that.
Game over. Heartbreaking. And this, you guys, and of course I didn't record it. Probably the most clutch, insane basketball performance I've had in my life. That was the worst way to lose a game for me, personally. And then the Broncos, my gosh. Oh, God. Just so embarrassing was the professional one. So, Jose, why don't you take it away with your top 5 ways to lose or die in a video game, which I was way off with my answer.
I'm happy to. I would also like to point out for the listeners, I just went back and reviewed the chat that happened after our conversation, our like XRT chat. And I quote, just talked to Dan and he's in. He called me back because I called him. It's official. Worst ways to die or lose in video games. So
it's also official. I didn't quite read that. I had talked to Jose seconds before, and that's not
Reading
what
is
he said.
hard.
Anyway,
And listening, I was listening to what he said while he was while he was saying it to me on the shitter. So forgive me for paying so much attention to Jose when he was not telling me. But all right, anyway, move on. Go
Anyway,
ahead.
my top 5. So ironically, 3 of them are in the same game, actually. My number 5, though, it's an oldie, but a classic one, is basically, I use Battletoads as the example, but any game where you have like a thing where you have to navigate and it gets faster and faster and you can hit an obstacle, those I feel like are the worst ways to die, especially when you get far enough and you're like, I'm going to do it, and you die. Like that is just
Like
a painstaking.
and then the marker in Cuphead where you're like right before you
Oh.
die, and you're like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, or you can see that the save point and you can't get there. Oh, that's terrible. That's number 5 for me. Number 4, 3, and 2 all come from Warzone, or basically other first-person shooters that are similar. Number 4, a misjudged grenade. I cannot tell you the number of times where I didn't know what the grenade did, or it hits like I was trying to throw it out the door and it hits the door jam and comes back and I'm like, oh no, and you die. Those are just. Or the other one is like when you set a mine and you forget that you set it and then you walk back over it. Horrific. That's number 4. Number 3 for me, and it's honest because I know I'm not that great, getting crushed by care packages. Like I get too excited and run where they're gonna fall in one dead, and you got to revive me and go spend your money to get me back. Sorry about that, team. Sorry, Nico. He's done that for me many times, and Dan. Number 2 for me, the last one from Warfare, is forgetting to open my shoot in time because I'm trying to get to a place, you miss it, and you just plop, and you're like, the game has literally just started, and you're down a man because you didn't open your shoot. That's a travesty. And my number 1 is really every video game. It's that moment when you're about to do something great and either mom comes in or your spouse comes in and they are like, you got to pause your game. You're like, I can't pause. We're online. And you die because of that moment. It's called the mom, you're embarrassing me in front of my friends wait to die. That has happened to the best of us, and not anymore. I love my mom dearly, obviously, but man, there have been times growing up where I was like, right there, and we got to go or something, and not great. So that is my top 5 list.
Good one, Jose. And you're right. Now with some of these online games, you really can't pause. I remember Allie's like,
No.
you can just pause the game. I'm like, I really can't pause the game right now.
Yeah.
Or like, Grayson, will you just get out of my way for 5 seconds?
The zone is
while I do
coming
this
in. There's
race?
3 of us
Gosh,
left.
just give me a second. Gosh.
Yeah, I love it. The parachutes for sure. Yeah. And I knew we would kind of all, clearly not this different, but all obviously have a little bit different. And I'm kind of glad because I went a different way. And I didn't explain it very well. I was like trying to text through my voice on my watch because I was driving. Jose was clearly taking care of some caca, and Daniel was busy
Literally.
not knowing how to read. So it makes sense. But so mine, I was trying really hard because I was like, oh, should I do the most frustrating deaths or just ones that you're like, what the, oh my God, what happened? Right. And so as I was going back through the memory banks, there were definitely some that popped out. So, and this one is a real throwback that you guys might not even remember. So it was a little game called Mortal Kombat Armageddon, which was the 7th. I know. It was a PS2, Xbox, maybe GameCube, but it was a 7th installment. They had a thing that was called Create Your Own Fatality. So the reason you don't remember Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Daniel, is because they did away with fatalities in that game, which it's like, cool, Mortal Kombat, cool. And the only thing it was you had like 6 seconds to create your own fatality where you just like mashed a bunch of buttons, and it was absolutely terrible. Nobody liked it. That's why nobody remembers that game. Number 4, this was super, I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And it did, if I remember right, only happened to me once. So I was like, I'm going to make sure I never do that again, which is kind of like a walk-off hit by pitch. And I think everybody will remember the needle through the eye in Dead Space 2. So when you're laying there and you have to like get it straight into his, what's that? Is it the cornea? I don't know,
Yeah,
whatever part,
that's a
the
good
black
one.
part of your eye. If you did that wrong, it just punctured his eye straight through his brain. So I remember that just being like, oh boy, okay. Number 3, super, super frustrating. Anytime you're playing a Grand Theft Auto game and you just get hit by a random car, like when you're usually running to catch up with something, or because you haven't switched the camera around fast enough, and you just get hit by something, and you're like, and it always takes so long for the animation. You don't always die, but if you don't die, it's like takes forever to get back up, and you lose the person you were trying to track down or something.
That happens to me in Cyberpunk all the time. Is that what you were going to say?
Yes. So I was riding on my bike and I'm
Yeah.
following Pan Am to some part in the desert. And all of a sudden I just explode and my bike explodes. My body goes flying forward and she's dead. And I was like, what the I was so confused. Thankfully it had some decent auto saves. I figured it out. She just randomly spawned there. So yes, absolutely. Shout out to Cyberpunk and Pan Am. By the way, Pan Am, you guys, that's my bro.
I told you.
That's man, we had a great time in that tank. But we can talk about that later. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. So coming in at number 2, just like such a WTF death. And I think maybe you guys have seen this. And if you haven't, I'm sure something similar has happened to you. But death by menu/goat in old Elden Ring. Have you seen the one? So the guy's fighting one of the fire golems. And you can tell it's fairly early in the game because he doesn't have a super beefed up character, but he has the tiniest sliver of life left. And he finally beats one of those fire golems and he quickly jumps into the menu. And you know how that's not a pause. There is no pause, right? Because it's Elden Ring. So he jumps into the menu and then he's like, oh, and it's this goat that just like runs into the guy. And it's just so funny. And I don't think that specifically ever happened to me, but a lot of things really close where you're like, oh my God, I hit the menu button.
That happened to me, Chance. I beat a boss and then I died afterwards. Just something random hit me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do this all over again. But thankfully, for some reason, it counted it, and so I didn't have to fight again. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. I almost quit because I think that was during my PS5 Platinum run. I'm like, I'm gonna quit if I didn't beat that guy.
And there were so many other funny Elden Ring ones, right? Like you could probably do just like this just with Elden Ring, but and then number 1, of course, I can't not have this one on here. It was just as cool as it was like frustrating, but from none other than Mass Effect 2, when you romance the Asari Ardot-Yakshi Morinth. You're not allowed to do that because your simple little human body can't take it. And that's, if you don't know all the backstory
spoiler warning.
The Ardot-Yakshis are like, they're Asari assassins, and that's like their whole point of being, is taking out other people. And one of the ways they can do that is by I don't even know what they call it. They call it romancing in Mass Effect, but whatever the equivalent of that is for the Asari race, I think they might have a word for it. I can't remember what it is, but yeah, you just die. Which is so funny to me. Like, so I couldn't not put it on here, but I was like, yeah, I'm making it number 1 because it's Mass Effect. So.
Oh, great warm up there, BubbleBoy. By the way, I looked up Asari sex on Google. Do not do that at home, you guys. Not do that at home.
Don't do that.
The first thing that pops up is Mass Effect Asari adult videos on the old
you're like,
hub.
I'm just trying to learn.
I really was just trying to find.
I forgot.
I'm trying to remember what the word is. Here, wait, here we go.
It's something.
I'm on the Mass Effect wiki.
How far did you have to scroll with that search to get to the wiki?
Pretty far down. We're going to get to the bottom of this later, but thank you, BubbleBoy, for that excellent warm up, guys. Let's jump into some. Oh my gosh, we completely forgot about shoutouts. I'm embarrassed right now. We are just too excited. All right, we are 30 minutes in. Let's jump into Xbox news and then we'll do some shout outs afterwards. Let's just jump into it. We'll get to the shout outs in a second. We did not forget about you guys. First Xbox news item is coming from PC Game Pass over on the old Tweetosphere. Sometimes we just like a good landscape picture, #new profile pic, and then Tom Warren enhances it a little bit in there, and you can see Chance's favorite game with, I don't even remember the guy's name. What's that guy's name? Who cares? The main character.
Daryl.
Daryl from Death Stranding is in the
Norman
background.
Reedus.
Norman, that's was trying to remember. Norman Reedus. It's looking like we have Death Stranding coming to Xbox through PC Game Pass. BubbleBoy, does this excite you at all with your new supercomputer that can run it, right?
You did that on purpose. Susan.
You could have with that Dell. You would have been playing it right now, but go ahead, BubbleBoy.
Yeah, no, I will not be able to play it because I do not have PC. I
Well,
have Game
it
Pass
might be
Ultimate, but I don't have a
streamable.
PC. If it's streamable, I still can't. I don't have a PC.
Well, can't you you can
It's
just stream it through the
browser-based,
the
but you
web
can do it through
browser.
the Xbox browser or
Yeah,
through any browser.
you could
Oh,
literally almost play it
yeah.
through your Xbox through the browser, but you could do
No,
it
and
through Chrome.
I really enjoyed the game. I highly encourage all of you to play it if you can. It's just not one of those ones that you really need to play more than once. I just have too many other things to play right now.
Gotcha.
But I'm excited, and everybody else should be. It was a great game if you didn't pick it up for the PS4.
Jose, do you have any interest in the walking simulator? And maybe this will be your streaming test, or
It's just
are
not
you
fair to call it that, though. I'm telling you, it's just there's so much more to it.
Strategic walking simulator, Jose, or FedEx delivery simulation?
I mean, right now, no. I mean, I really can't play it for one, and
What
two,
do you what do you
I have
what are you
GTA
gonna
5. I got to
Okay,
finish
thank you.
Inside. I got to get ready for
Okay.
Gotham Knight. Like, I'm not going to add Death Stranding right now. It's not because I hate Death Stranding. I think I'd be interested to at least try it, despite all the hate, and I've even made fun of it myself. But it's just not in the cards right now, so I'm out.
Do you either of you think that this is actually going to ever make it to Xbox console? Do you think there will ever be a real port, or is this about as far as we're going to get
I
for?
think it's a start. I think there's always that possibility, especially if Hideo's working with Xbox on some stuff. I
Mhm.
think it's a possibility.
Chance? Do you think it's
Yeah,
ever coming?
we'll have to ask him next time he's on the show. But
Oh, you're
I
right.
think with him,
Speaking
this
of,
is step one of a 5-step process. Yep, exactly. Yeah, there you go.
I think he's
Repping
in London right now, so when he gets back.
Yep.
yeah. In case you're wondering, guys, this is the official XRT hoodie that says Hideo Kojima projection. We are Hideo Kojima did produce, write, create, and direct. He directs every one of our shows. He makes sure he's
He
actually
also
watching us
starred in
remotely. Oh, and occasionally he makes an appearance. So
editing.
shout out to Death Stranding. It's coming to Game Pass. Very
He's
exciting.
holding my boom mic right now.
Very exciting stuff. And I probably could play this on my PC, but too many games, too many great games. I'm still sucked into Cyberpunk. So let's move on to the next story. And this just broke today. And this is coming from Video Games Chronicle and Tom Ivan over there at VGC. QuakeCon launches with free classic games and PC Game Pass announcement. So joining PC Game Pass today, again, August 18th, we can play Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Quake 4, Wolfenstein 3D, and Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire. These are for Pony right here. The Elder Scrolls Adventures Redguard. And you will also be able to unlock all champions in Quake. And then these titles will also be free today on the Microsoft Store. So does this mean PC? Can someone look these up for me? The Elder Scrolls Arena, Pony. Come on, man. You love these old games that you've never played. The Elder Scrolls, Daggerfall, and Quake Champions. And then Bethesda announced that PC Game Pass and Microsoft Store editions, which will these all came before QuakeCon, and then we are going to see more. There's probably going to be more news. I know they showed something for Redfall. I am very interested in playing the original Wolfensteins because I've never played any of those. So I probably am going to try Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Wolfenstein 3D, just to see how those. I mean, obviously they're not going to be as great as these most recent ones. Jose, what do you think of these announcements? Do you think we're going to see anything else? Are we going to hear anything about Deathloop, Jose?
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm qualified to comment on Deathloop, but I would say here's the question. I actually I don't think I have time to play the old Wolfensteins, but I did really enjoy the two new ones. Like I really hope they
Yeah.
do a third, and I
Awesome
assume they
games.
will. They were so much fun. I could see people going back and playing those because of the story. The Quake thing is interesting to me though, because I'm not belittling Quake. It's an incredible and important part of like video game history and stuff. my question is, do you really think people will get back into it? You know, I mean, like in its day, Quake was in the same, like, it was reveled in the same way as like Warzone is and Halo is and Destiny, where there was just massive communities of people who played all the time. But how old is Quake
I don't
Champions? It's
know,
got to
man.
be 20, 30 years old. Like, people might go play it and like, oh man, I remember this is so much fun. But I just,
Yeah.
it would be surprising to me if people like really got back into it for a long period of time. But you know, again, short period makes total sense, but like it's just a little bizarre. I mean, I'm grateful, like you said, I'm not upset by any means. It doesn't hurt us in any way, but it's just kind of funny. Like, I'm curious how many people will actually play.
Yeah. I remember when Quake came last year when they did this similar at the last QuakeCon. Some people were dropping into that who had played it, but I have no connection to it. I thought about playing it. I mean, it looked, decent because of all the enhancements like 4K 60 and all that, but it looks like all these are actually PC. So, it looks like straight. I don't even see cloud or streaming
Yeah, that's what I was
available.
gonna say. My understanding of it was it's PC. So
Yeah, they are on PC and then now available in the Microsoft Store. So I'm wondering if you have to buy these. Oh no, free to play. So these two, so Heretic, Hexen, and Death Kings of the Dark Citadel are available now to buy on the Microsoft Store, but available free to play on Microsoft is Elder Scrolls Arena and the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall. So Pony, I'm sure even your dusty old Windows Vista PC can run the Elder Scrolls 2.
It probably
You
runs it
might.
amazing because it was built for that
yeah,
system. So you're great.
it'll run it better than yours.
Bubble Boy, any thoughts on this? Or what about there's that mic tying this into Bethesda and the Marvel / Star Wars event that's coming up? Do you think we're going to see Indiana Jones possibly? Because that is a Bethesda game. So Bubble Boy, go ahead.
Yeah, any of these types of things are exciting to me. I love just seeing all these new announcements. This one in particular was probably didn't have any of the bangers that I was like,
Yeah.
really looking forward to. But again, it really excites me because it's like Jose always kind of points to, this is just more content that's coming out that somebody's going to love, and it's going to get somebody to maybe dust off, like you said, that old Windows Vista PC in the back. And it's just good stuff. Like, it's exciting stuff. Do I care about any of them? Or I care, yeah. Am I going to play any of them? Probably not. As far as the oh god, why am I wanting to say Zorro?
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, goodness.
Good gosh.
Not Zorro at all. I have a hard time thinking what that game would be that doesn't come off as a massive Uncharted ripoff. And you can't have Indiana Jones be a Uncharted ripoff because Uncharted probably ripped off Indiana Jones to begin
Not
with. So it's
probably.
like,
It's Inception,
Totally
bud. It's a
did.
ripoff within a ripoff,
yeah,
and you bring in Shia LaBeouf, and that's how you do it.
exactly, right? Dream a little bigger. Like, I don't know. Of course, if it's cool, I'll be excited. But what kind of game is it going to be even?
So here's a question for you, a quick question.
I know. I have an idea.
Would you rather it be a rehashing of the 4 movies, so you get to play through Raiders and Temple of Doom and that, or would you rather just a completely different story?
Completely different story. And here's what it's going to be, Chance. What is What is the team? Who's the team? Gosh, what is their name? Who makes Wolfenstein games? What's the studio? Oh my gosh. They make first-person shooter games.
Chance looking it up. Keep going.
What I'm trying to say is Wolfenstein Anywhere. Here it is. Oh, come on.
Machine Games.
Machine Games makes awesome first-person shooter games. This Indiana Jones games needs to be first person. I know everyone wants to see it like Uncharted. No, do not do that, because then you will get those lame comparisons to Uncharted. Even though Uncharted clearly took a lot from Indiana Jones, National Treasure, and Tomb Raider and put it into their own game. make it first person with that movement that Machine Games does, have some platforming with the whip first person. I think we've talked about this before on the podcast. I am all
You
for
could
a
have Indiana
first.
Jones steal the Declaration of Independence.
Oh gosh, I am all for a first person Indiana Jones game. I think it would
What
be
if it was
awesome.
something
And you can
like
shoot and whip and do stealth and do non-lethal stuff.
what if it was
That's
something
a
like
first person
Ori
game.
and Guacamelee?
No,
I don't think that's going to be a
no,
AAA title.
no. Yeah,
Who
exactly. No
said
offense
is
to
it
those
for sure
games.
going to be a AAA title?
Yeah, Machine Games and
Is it?
Bethesda
Yeah.
Studios. Yeah, no, this is going to be a massive game. Might be multi-platform too, which kind of, we'll give this one to you, Sony. But I cannot wait. So shout out to Bethesda and QuakeCon and those games coming to to PC Game Pass and PC in general. You're right. This is a big nostalgia play, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who will enjoy it. I wish I had some sort of connection. Maybe I should go play the Quake ones that are on the Xbox. I probably should. I should go check them out. And if those Wolfenstein ones are already on Xbox Game Pass, which will somebody look up and see if those might even actually already be on Xbox. So maybe these are just announcements coming to PC. But let's roll on with the next news story. Everybody's favorite, coming soon to Xbox Game Pass. And this is the August 16th, 2022 mid-month update. And this is coming from Megan Spur, community lead, Xbox Game Pass. Do we want to read these, or do you just want to list them out? I'll list them out. Let me see if any of these stand out to you. Cloud Console PC Coffee Talk. Cloud Console PC Commandos 3 HD Remastered. Ooh, here's one for chance. Cloud Console PC Immortals Phoenix Rising. Shout out to Bacon, who just bought this the last time it was on sale. Now it's free on Game Pass. Jose, do you want to talk right now?
Well, I was just say, Immortals Phoenix Rising is actually an awesome game, and I actually had Chance's copy. I gave it to him like a month ago. I've had it for like 8 months, but it's actually a really cool game, and it's got some cool mechanics. Like I actually really enjoyed playing it. So now that it's on Game Pass,
did you beat that, Jose?
It's
I beat it. It was great.
Wow, I'm impressed.
For the resident person who hated Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Daniel, I think you would like this and consider it to be what Assassin's
I tried the demo, Chance. I couldn't get past the cheesy dialogue in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, no, I can't do this. Couldn't do it.
It gets
Couldn't do it.
There is a point to it.
It gets better though.
Okay.
I actually enjoyed it.
See, but I'm not big into
liked
Greek mythology. That dialogue, I was like, no, uninstall. Thank God I tried the demo. But sorry, did you beat it too, Chance?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow. Well, shout out to Immortal. There is a recommendation for you all. Immortals Phoenix Rising. I have heard good things. It either hits with people or it doesn't, like me. I did get good reviews. I did appreciate the art style. So shout out to Immortals Phoenix Rising. Also coming to Cloud Console PC, Midnight Fight Express. Console and PC, Opus Echo of Starsong. What is this name? Tiny Kin console and PC.
Tinykins.
It just says Tiny Kin on the box art here. And then the other two is Exa or EXA Punks on PC, and then PC Xbox Series S and S only, Immortality. And also I wanted to say some updates. Sea of Thieves, there's another update. It's called A Hunter's Cry. And Naraka Blade Point. A lot of people are liking this, and I believe JBiz and X Bacon Game played this melee focused, I think, battle royale.
How did JBiz fit it in?
I don't know. He's still on.
That's what she said.
Yep, he's still on Elden Ring. And also, here's some Xbox Game Pass Ultimate perks. Halo Infinite. Make sure you grab that past tense Commando battle rifle skin. Multiverses, get an MVP pack. And everybody, don't even worry. There's a Crossfire X1. Don't even worry about that. Let's move on. There are 16 games that will also be added to touch control. So Jose, when he's at work, we can play Chorus, Coffee Talk, Dragon Age 2, Dragon Age Origins, Floppy Nights, Matchpoint, MLB The Show. There you go. My Friend Peppa Pig, 2 Point Campus, Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, now has touch controls, Turbo Golf Racing. Ooh, here's a great one. TMNT Shredder's Revenge, Super Mega Baseball 3, Star Wars Squadrons, Skate, and Paw Patrol Adventure City Calls. And then here's some sad news, gentlemen. Leaving August 31st, and there are some big games here, and I'm not gonna lie, one of them I'm missing out on. Elite Dangerous is leaving. Hades, I never got to it. I downloaded it as soon as it was available. It's been here a
man.
year. I never got to it. Looks
Try
like
it.
I'm
When does it leave? Is it the end of August?
end of the month, August 31st.
Man, it's really not enough time.
Here's a strange one. This is a Microsoft originally published game. Myst is leaving Game Pass. NBA 2K 2022, probably because the new one's coming out. Signs of Sojourner. Spitfire, 12 minutes. We all played this. Do I think it's worth your time? Yeah, check it out. 2 Point Hospital. Doesn't matter. We just got the new 2 Point game. And great one right here. What Remains of Edith Finch. And I've heard great things about World War Z as well. So there are quite a few games leaving. And I know there's probably not too much you guys want to say about the games that are that were added this month. Oh, Jose, before I let you talk about that, very quickly, with these games leaving, I just wanted to point out, keep an eye on these titles because I have a feeling either some of them might come back or are these leaving now and going to Play Pass. Keep an eye open on those Play Pass editions if they're not already there. It's interesting to see how these Game Pass, Play Pass deals work. Like if they leave one, do they get added to the other right away? Keep that in mind. Jose, go ahead. What did you want to say?
No, I was just going to say, talking about games that I want to play, again, I can't recommend enough Immortals Phoenix Rising. It's actually a much bigger game than you think when you start, and that's pretty in depth. Okay. The other thing was, I actually really pumped for Tinykin. That came out, they did the preview for it back when we had the Summer Games Fest at the beginning of summer, and some of the gameplay, it looks awesome. It reminds me of, there was a really old game on, I think it was GameCube called Pikmin, and they did like crossovers with Mario and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was actually a really cool game. It gives me that vibe kind of, but it's got a 2D cell shaded atmosphere. So I'm actually pumped to play Tinykin. Don't worry, I'll play GTA 5 first. But I really want to try that when it comes out. So
wasn't Tinykin Daniel's nickname in high school?
Oh, so true. Modern net. Guys, that has been all the topics that I wanted to cover this week. Kind of a short week. By the way, BubbleBoy, Jose, I didn't see any additions from you guys. Was there anything else you wanted to add, or did you add afterwards?
Shout out to movies.
Well, you know what's funny?
To what?
Yeah,
Shout
we'll get
to
that.
Movies.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a second. BubbleBoy, it's funny because I remember checking in on the notes like Tuesday and Wednesday, and I saw your cursor. I'm like, oh, okay, BubbleBoy's adding some stories, and then you never did.
Oh, I went in 7 different times, and I just here's what I'll say too, and you're probably suffering through this.
Oh yeah, it's nonstop
the
madness.
wonderful Aurora Public Schools has decided to
block Twitter,
to block internet access to everybody. That isn't a district computer, a district provided computer or phone.
You can get around it, BubbleBoy. Tell Jose what you can do.
You
can't use the APS district internet with your personal devices like you can, Jose. But what we can do is log on to the peasant internet, which is for everybody, the guest, APS guest.
And you have to re-up it every week. And
you want to know how to get around it? I can tell you how to do it right now.
Yeah, tell me.
Pro tip out there, if this happens at work, you buy your own little mini router and you plug it into an Ethernet port at work, and it creates your own mini network. And then it's like you have an Ethernet plug-in. That's a pro tip, bud. Did that for 15 years.
What if you don't have a router or an Ethernet point?
Go buy a cheap router.
No, I don't have an Ethernet point in my office.
Oh, then yeah, you can't. Or I mean,
unless I could hook it to the
pro tip and a funny
thing,
story. And Jeff, if you ever listen, I apologize. So when I was still teaching in my room, there was this apartment building that was really close to us, and they had a Wi-Fi that we could sometimes reach in our rooms because we were that close to it. And they were called Bear Valley, and then they must have had different access points that were named J1, J2, J3, J4, all the way to J7. And so when I installed my router in my classroom so that I could connect all my stuff and run all my wizardry, I named my router Bear Valley J8. So when it showed up and people were like, "Oh, there's another network here," they just assumed it was the apartment complexes.
Yep.
That's pro tip, bud. That's how you do it.
That is awesome because for a fact there wasn't anybody tech savvy enough working in that building to figure that out. Huh?
Now Jeffco can actually detect when there's like
there's a hacker.
There's a type of network that it's called a spoof network. That's what it's called, and so they can try to track it down and stuff. And I had to literally start hiding the routers and stuff, but
great
I'm
idea.
not doing anything nefarious. I just wanted to run cool tech in my classroom. I wasn't like hacking the mainframe.
No. I completely think that's a great idea. And I actually looked, I was like, well, maybe I could just hardwire it. And I didn't see one, Jose. So I'm a little concerned. Either way, if there's one anywhere near me or in somebody else nearby, I'm hooking up a router. That is a great idea.
You can actually buy little mini routers that are this big on Amazon. They're like $30 and they're only meant to make like a 10-foot radius.
Yeah.
I always have one in my bag when I travel. If you're ever in a hotel room where it has the Ethernet port and you don't have Wi-Fi costs money, you can just plug that in and have your own Ethernet. Just throw that.
Well, to be fair, I just hook up to the guest network now and it works fine. But except for Twitter being blocked. Does it block it for you, Chance?
Couldn't tell you.
Moving on, let's jump into our favorite part of the show. And we forgot to do this right at the beginning because we were just fired up about those garbage men. Huge XRT shout out to X Bacon Gaming. I forgot to shout him out last week, but he recently got 1,000 out of 1,000 on Peppa the Pig and was bragging to me about that. Said he followed an easy video, an hour video or something to get through it. So shout out to Bacon for getting 1,000 gamer score. Peppa the Pig.
You play to win the game.
Yeah, you play to win.
Play to just play it.
Hey, Jose, add the practice one. I want to hear that one as well. Practice. We talk about practice.
I'm on
not
it.
a game, not a game art. Thank you, BubbleBoy. And also shout out to Bacon for he also completed Inside. Jose, did you complete it yet?
I have not completed it
Oh
yet.
my gosh, it's okay. We'll talk about that in a second. So
I need some help when we get to that point.
Oh my gosh, we'll talk about that in a second. So next one comes from Claire to Square. Jose, take it away and read our XRT email from Claire to Square. Actually, Jose, BubbleBoy, where can people find us if they needed to write into the show? BubbleBoy
must be on mute.
Okay, demoted. Jose, where can people find us if they want to write into the show?
At xboxrecordthis@gmail.com or
all right, temporary promotion to Jose.
Thank you, appreciate it. Or any of our online stuff. Our DMs are wide open.
Okay, back to demotion.
Twitter,
Take it away. Take it away.
All right. So from Clear to Square. Hello, gentlemen. I wrote out an essay on character development in Anakin at this point, and how that episode was a huge part of my love for Star Wars. Claire is talking about the fight scene at the end. We talked about it. We were talking about the greatest fight scenes. Back to the quote. But I'll let it go. Just saying that Anakin versus Obi-Wan was an important turning point, and it gave us a ton of meme culture to work with, which she put a funny meme with Loki from Avengers saying, I have an army, Tony Stark responding, we have a Hulk, and then good old Obi-Wan, I have the high ground, right? So
it's over, Anakin. I have the high ground.
So totally fair. Claire, thank you for writing in as always. Then she said, following after that, meta comment, JBiz, my dad also hated the Wiggles. To this day, if they show up in the news somehow, my dad sends me the story and talks about how I scarred him. Shout out to Claire's dad. I hope he's doing well. Then she said about Seinfeld, I'm so glad that you talked about Seinfeld and that BubbleBoy is showing his kids. I've always felt that Elaine is a relatively fun role model for young women because she's smart, honest, hilarious, and confident. She knows who she is and doesn't change for anyone. Amazing. I adore her, and your lists were fantastic. Elden Ring update. Me and the Godskin duo in the Dragon Tornado area were having a tough time, but I finally beat them and it felt great. Claire, I could not agree. That was a hard boss for me. Very, very hard as a mage.
I gotta jump in, Jose. Exactly. As a mage, incredibly difficult. You had to keep your distance. But when I had the Rivers of Blood, I annihilated them. I don't even think they split or whatever, or they respawn. I killed them all in one try. Like it was like a joke. I was like, I remember hearing about that fight and I was like, that was easy. It took me like a minute. Go ahead, BubbleBoy.
Yeah, on my first run, my first playthrough, that was right when I switched to the Rivers of Blood. First try, beat him first try. On my subsequent runs, when they amp up the difficulty, that was not the case, but I was the exact same way. I was like, what? Godskin duo? I had to go back in my memory to figure, who was that again?
Yeah, they were very hard.
Hey, Claire, you're very close. You're getting there. You got
you're
one
real close,
more big boss in that area, and then you're on the final run there. So
you just need a little
more
more practice.
3 more bosses.
Just a little more practice, and you'll be right there.
We talking about practice, not a game. Not a game. We talking about practice. Practice, man. I mean, how silly is that?
Thank you, BubbleBoy and Alan Iverson for showing up on the show. Go ahead, Jose.
Finishing off Claire's, are y'all on Stitcher? I was encouraging my Xbox loving coworker to listen to the show this week, but he said he listens to podcasts on Stitcher. Happy back to school. See you online. clear to square? And that is a question I actually do not know the answer to.
I do know the answer, guys. We are not on Stitcher. I actually went to Stitcher, looked us up, Xbox, scored this, didn't pop up. It was also sad because I saw a bunch of other Xbox podcasts. I'm like, oh gosh, there's so many competitors, but a lot of them had quit, and we still are going strong.
That's
We
something that
we give
we
you a
never
new
quit.
episode every week. We're always here. You can rely
And
on us. To
how
all our
many
new
of them are
listeners.
produced by Hideo Kojima?
Good point. So, Claire, I will
All
try
of
to
them.
get.
He produces everything.
Yeah, I will try to get to the bottom of that, Claire. We are not on Stitcher, but tell your friend we're working on it, and he's going to have 68 episodes to catch up on once we get on there. So huge XRT shout out to Claire de Square for writing in, and huge shout out to X Bacon. And please write in. We love shout outs. We love when we get inquiries to the show. Favorite part for us. Gentlemen, let's jump into what have we been watching. Jose, take it away. I know we've been holding on to
Let's
this for a
skip this
month.
part this week.
I will murder you.
This is still relevant. It's not.
I'm kidding.
He's
I'm
joking.
kidding.
He's joking. So I put this in a couple weeks ago. It was big news. I'm sure many of you heard it if you're at all into media, but two stories that I thought were interesting. The first one, I'm actually going to go out of order here, was that so Seth Rogen is directing a new Ninja Turtle movie that's set to come out in a couple of years, which I'm super pumped for. As far as I understand, it's another live action movie. I could be incorrect, but that would be super great after the ones in the 90s. And they officially released a title. So it is called Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. And this was actually from GameSpot, where I brought the original article, but again, it was all over the internet. And they show a really cool kind of graphic that was put up in New York City. That's like very almost like a Notebook from high school, but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem in theaters August 4th, 2023. So we are literally just under a year away from that gem. I cannot wait. And it's a cool little, they did a whole promotional thing where there's like ooze dripping down onto the sidewalk. It's like a real art installation in New York. So very excited for that. I wanted to ask my co-hosts, obviously we're going to probably see Shredder. I would imagine we're going to see Bebop, Rocksteady, and Krang. If you could pick one or two other classic villains, who would you want to see in Mutant Mayhem?
I gotta go. I'll go first, BubbleBoy. I got a wild idea here. This is when they're really young, maybe even more of an origin story. Maybe we don't even see Shredder. Maybe he's just teased for.
It's possible if they build it into maybe a trilogy and we don't see Shredder in the first one.
Maybe it's going to be a completely new universe and new enemies. So that's my guess for the new TMNT. BubbleBoy.
I hope we see Casey Jones. I know he's not a villain, but he has been a villain at times in certain ways.
Okay, but who would you want to play him? If you got to pick anyone to play Casey Jones, who are you picking?
Oh gosh, oh man, that you hit me out of left field with that one. Hideo Kojima.
Fair enough. That's a good answer. All right. The other story that I wanted to bring up, and then we could talk about what we've actually been watching, was about, I'm sure many of you heard that the Batgirl movie, which was literally completed filming, completed editing, they were getting ready to start promoting it, and it just got canceled. And that prompted this whole big thing. A lot of people were really upset, including myself. I was pumped to see a Batgirl movie that was faithful to the comics. I felt so bad for the main actress and all the people that worked on the movie. But basically what happened was that Warner Brothers, their CEO basically said, look, we've heard all of your feedback about the DC movies, and we're gonna hit the reset button. We're literally going to go back and we're going to try to do what the MCU did. They have a quote unquote a 10-year plan. This original story did break on GameSpot as well from Matt Elfring on August 4th, if you want to go look it up. But basically he said the reason why we didn't release Batgirl is because it doesn't match with what our vision is for this kind of reset. And the part that has just been
because it was good,
nutty, was that they had to have spent tens, maybe $100 million on this movie, and they're going to get none of it back. And to be fair, they've also said that they were this is not a comment on the actress or her ability. We hope we were so excited to work with her again in the future films and stuff. But just this is such a bizarre thing. And then a lot of people were in an uproar because Ezra Miller, who has played the Flash, and that movie's basically wrapped. He's been getting in all kinds of trouble, and they're still going to release that one because of how much money they spent on it, even though he's, no offense, at least been a total D-bag with all of this stuff. And it's just bizarre, man. And here's the thing. I kind of hope they do a great job with the DC universe. I would love to see an extended DCU, right? That is really awesome. And I mean, especially if they could bring in Peacemaker. They talked about that in the article. Peacemaker was an awesome show. So if they can build that into
highly
this
underrated.
universe, even as like a cameo, would be fantastic. So I guess what I wanted to put in, like the reason I put this is I want to see what their plan is. I hope it's great, and then I do feel bad for Batgirl, man. I would hope that at some point maybe they'll be willing to release the movie, or I don't know, but they've said many times that they won't. So I don't know. Either of you have any thoughts about this?
I feel bad for us, obviously too. Like I feel bad for her and all that kind of stuff. But like they're just like taking away art from people again. Like that's
Well, BubbleBoy,
no,
going back to the video game and
yeah. And
KOTOR, it must have been really bad.
we haven't.
No, they said it was
Really?
great.
That's what
Great.
Yeah, they
Clearly
did
it
use those
wasn't
words.
because HBO's like, this is straight caca. Get it out of
They
here.
said it
it's
didn't
not
match
that it
with their
wasn't
vision
caca, it
about
was-
this new
yeah.
thing. That's
It
the
makes
words.
no
I gotta find
sense
that
to
somewhere,
me.
but that's what they
It,
said.
it literally
I heard
feels
that-
like. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
No,
It
I was
feels
just saying,
like-
I heard that the some of the set and the costumes were a little subpar. We're getting some, CW vibes, on the
Hey,
production
the
hush your
Flash on
mouth, sir.
CW
The
is
CW is a dope. I love the
Here
CW.
we go. Go ahead, BubbleBoy.
no. I just don't understand it, and I was curious to bring it back to video games. Has this ever happened in the video game realm? Like, in what part? Like, so they were just ready to ship, and then they're like, "Yeah, never mind." Like,
It has. I remember Colin said something about NBA Live. One of the NBA Lives, they got review copies, and then EA was like, "We are not releasing this," and they pulled
Okay.
it back. That was one of
Okay.
them. Shout out to Colin
oh,
Moriarty.
and
I remember that.
Cyberpunk didn't have him with Cyberpunk.
Pretty much.
Oh no, it should
Great
have.
game. No, it should have. Well, to be fair, it ran well on PCs when it came out.
Ran well on my Xbox Series X.
I'm glad I waited for the next gen packs. It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Chance. We can talk about that in a second. But I did want to say
Yeah.
also, the Phantom. What was the stupid one with the dragons that was on Xbox One that everyone was complaining about? Like, bring it back.
Scalebound.
Scalebound. That was probably close to being done, and then they're like, "This ain't it, fam." So, and as far as the universe thing goes, I'm all for them restarting it because clearly what they've tried before, Jose, has not been particularly
Yeah, but
good.
why couldn't they still release this?
Okay, true. You're right. I don't care about the Batgirl. Release on HBO Max, whatever. By the way, I canceled it, you guys. I canceled my Max. I have nothing. I don't use it. I'm not really watching anything. I'll renew it when I have to. I did want to say
you're not watching Hard Knocks.
no. I've never watched a single
Game of
Hard
Thrones
Knocks.
on Sunday, bud.
Never watched a single Hard Knocks. I only watched season 1 of Game of Thrones. Thought it was boring until the last 10 minutes of every episode. But anyway, back to what I was saying. As far as the universe is concerned, fine, good, reboot it, do it. But what's confusing is that they're still continuing some of these other movies. Isn't there going to be another Aquaman? The Flash is still supposed to come out. And then there is, I don't think they've officially announced the Batman, but isn't that going to continue? So what do they do? If they want to do it like Marvel, just do it like Marvel. There's nothing wrong with it. Or
the Batman
you need to have
has not been greenlit yet.
exactly.
You know that, right?
Yes. Well, it should be. It needs to be.
It hasn't been.
I know. I'm saying it should be. So my concern is either do your individual universes or combine them and really restart. Jose, what do you think about that? Like, either pick your lane and stick to it and have a plan for that. Like, if you're going to do the Batman universe, do the Batman universe, keep it separate. If you're going to do your Justice League universe, do your Justice League universe and include Batman, or don't. Like, what do you think? Like, how are they going to do this? And there's nothing wrong with giving credit to Marvel. They've shown you a successful plan. There's nothing wrong with you trying to do that with your own characters, but you got to commit to it and have a good plan.
I do agree. I think the smarter move, though, if I'm being real honest, and this is saying that I loved the Batman until Ezra was being crazy. I was excited for the Flash. I obviously wanted to see Batgirl. Aquaman wasn't great, but it wasn't horrific with Jason Momoa. Like, I thought he was a cool Aquaman, but I think if they're going to compete with Marvel and if they want to potentially be better than the MCU, because I think that's what they want. I don't think they want to compete. I think they want to be better. I think you have to cut everything and start over. I really do, because otherwise, if you're going to try to piecemeal this thing where like Ben Affleck is old Batman and Robert Pattinson's the new Batman, and then we got Aquaman and he's going to die, like, it's going to be a giant mess. What you need to do is you need to get your core Justice League. You need to hire the actors and actresses and say, we need you to commit to like 10 films over the next 20 years. Right. And it's going to be very expensive, but that's how you're going to really build this universe. And then what you can actually do is you can build the Gotham universe. You can build Batman and Alfred and Robin, Dick Grayson and Jason Todd and all that stuff, and then still integrate them into the
What
full
happens
DC.
to Black Adam then?
Well, that's the hard part where everyone doesn't want to do is that you've already got these A-list stars in these roles, but if you really want to,
can't you include him? Can't you do everything you just said before I said Black Adam, and still release the Black Adam that's about to come out and weave it in?
I think
Is
you
that not
could.
a possibility?
No, I think you could with some of the characters they have right now. I don't think you could do it with any of the Justice League ones, like the main
No,
ones.
but Black Adam would be the one
You
that
could
I would
maybe do
think.
Shazam. You could maybe do Black Adam. I mean, beyond that, there's very few I think that you could truly bring in and kind of leave that old universe behind. I think it would just tie too much. And again, I'm not saying I like Gal Gadot, awesome Wonder Woman. I like Jason Momoa's Aquaman. I liked Batfleck, right? I just think that you have to cut that to do that. I liked Henry Cavill as Superman, but you need a new Superman. You know what I mean?
They had some good casting, and that's kind of the problem. Is like they did have some good bits and pieces in there. It just didn't meld together well, Jose, like you're saying. But I don't know, man. It's
a huge.
But do they have
task.
to do it like Marvel? Or I guess people are kind of annoyed with all these different Batmans and different movies. Sorry, go ahead, Jose.
No, I just want to finish with the truth is, if they really want to compete, they do have to, because the truth is Marvel is just as crazy and convoluted as the DC universe, and they've been able to pull it together because they had that central Kevin Feige person. They need someone like that has the vision, not the CEO, but someone who is a diehard fan who knows the stories because they read them as a kid, who's willing to say, I will do this. They need like a Kevin Smith, right? Kevin Smith from like the Mallrats and the Ask Universe, like he would do such a cool job, because he not only would do a great job with all of the like main characters, but he knows the minor characters. He loves Supergirl and Batgirl and the Blue Beetle and all these other people that we never see. Like, he would do so good. And they're still releasing the Blue Beetle movie. So I'm curious if they're going to rescind on that now that this whole thing has changed. Chance?
Yeah, I love that Kevin Smith idea. I think that makes all kinds of sense. I completely forgot why I raised my hand.
Fair enough. Anyway,
great audio.
I know we could talk about this forever. So real quick, just about what we've been watching, the two movies that I wanted to talk about. I did see Uncharted on Netflix.
What'd you think?
It was not the best movie I've ever seen, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah. I really, the end with the pirate ship spoilers, what? I was just like, okay, guys.
It got a little bananas, but that's what the Uncharted games do. They always get bananas at the end. I really did actually like Tom Holland more than I thought I would, because he plays basically a young Nathan Drake. He doesn't play the Nathan Drake that we know when we start the first game. Mark Wahlberg as Sully was still like a little.
You know who would have been a good Drake? Mark Wahlberg. But anyway,
that's hilarious. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope they do a second one. I will say that I was really a little bummed that they
hold on. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Should we even say it? BubbleBoy, how it ended. Should we mention that?
I haven't watched it yet, so please, let's just pretend we're.
Go watch.
I'm going to cut you both off. I remembered what I raised my hand for earlier. What's funny to me a little bit as a fan of comic books is, for all the hubbub over this DCEU reset and all that kind of stuff, all that is nothing compared to what comic book culture looks like. And all the, they're like, there's too many Marvel movies. Have you seen how many Marvel comics there are? And there's a billion story arcs. They come out weekly. Like, some of them come out monthly, but for
that's the hardcore, a certain.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, so comparison wise though, for someone, I get that your average fan, 1 or 2 movies a year is enough, but my goodness, the amount of comics that come out, that the movies are nothing.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Back to Jose and Uncharted. Worth your time on Netflix. Nothing more.
Worth your time on Netflix. I wouldn't have been mad if I saw it in the theater, but
I was.
It was okay. Well, you know what I think it did very well, to be fair? All the acting and character choice and stuff aside, it did such a great job of that classic story where, like, everything had to come together perfect for this to work, where, like, they had the crosses and they needed this other cross, and they figure, like, I love that in movies when you're figuring out puzzles, because it's like puzzles in real life. I thought that was very, very, very cool.
BubbleBoy, so I'm excited for that. Do watch it.
Yeah, you should check it out while it's on Netflix. And the other one, and I have to ask, did either of you watch it like I asked you to?
Dude, I didn't have time.
Yeah, it's okay. To be fair, I didn't beat Inside, so I'm not complaining.
Ashley's been considering it. Prey.
Prey.
Ashley's
Oh,
been
no, yeah, I'll never
considering
get
it,
Allie to
and
watch that,
so
sorry.
I'm like waiting for the day when she's like, "Yeah, I'll watch it with you."
So if it helps, tell her to check online. It has gotten crazy rave reviews everywhere. And here's the thing, without spoilers, Prey is basically a prequel to the Predator movies. So like Predator 1, Predator 2, Predator versus Aliens, that whole universe. And it takes place in 1719. It takes place in near, I think they're Comanche. I apologize if they're not, but I'm pretty sure they're Comanche Indian tribe, Native American tribe. And basically the story is that it's like one of the very first hunts by a predator. So he comes to Earth, he's there to hunt. And it's unclear whether he originally is actually looking for humans or looking for an animal at first, but it eventually becomes that this Native American girl, Naru, who is very interested in hunting. She is very good at the traditional like female jobs within her tribe, but she wants to be a hunter like her brother, who's like the most decorated hunter in the tribe. And he's kind of taught her, and she has some decent skill. And she ends up going against the predator. That's all I'm going to say about the story. But what's really cool is there are definitely some really, really cool nods to the original Predator movies. Like there's one really just banger nod at the end. It's so cool if you know the stories. And I mean, effects look beautiful. It's a captivating story. It was just really cool, man. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. It's something I'll turn on just if I need some noise in the background, because it's that cool of a movie. And the best part, it came out of Hulu. Like that's not crazy, but like it's a pretty cool win for Hulu to get that, because it's been a wonderful movie, and it's created this whole kind of subsection on the internet where people have said, that is the formula for success. Take something that people love and put it in a time period. Like they were like, take a xenomorph, which are the aliens from Alien, and put it against like someone in feudal Japan, or take a predator and put it against someone in ancient Greece. Like that's kind of what they were hitting at. And I don't want them to go the full Assassin's Creed route where they just start doing that every year and we pick a different time period. But it was very, very, very well done, which is pretty cool. So if you haven't checked it out, if you're listening, do that. Chance and Dan, when you have a moment. And again, it's violent in the sense that they're like hunting each other, but it's never like excessively gory. It's very cool because the Predator is obviously this very advanced alien. It has like active camouflage and these crazy weapons and a laser gun and stuff. And they do a great job of like incorporating it where like she can still be competitive against him because of her like awareness of her surroundings and her weapons and stuff. And it's just rad, man. So check out Prey. It's very, very, very cool.
BubbleBoy, do you want to go to anything you've been
Yeah, because I don't have a ton. I finished Stranger Things season 4. I absolutely
No
loved
spoilers.
it. No,
I haven't seen
okay.
it.
I thought it was incredible. I'm a little mad at myself that I put it off for so long, and I think looking back, the reason I put it off is because I just didn't care for 3 as much as I remember some of the other ones. If you asked me to tell you anything about season 3, I remember that it took place in a mall, and that I thought that was kind of cool.
I'll add to that really quick, Chance.
Past that, I just don't. I don't
I feel that
remember
way
a
about
ton.
4. Like, I don't like how they're
I
all split
really
up.
liked
I don't
it.
like how I'm up to the point where, spoilers, 11 is regaining and she's training to get back her powers with Papa. And I'm like, every time it goes to that, I'm like, oh gosh, can she
Yeah,
just,
I could see that.
I'm like, oh gosh, can we go anywhere but here? And even the Alaska thing is a little out of control. The kids they're all split up. I'm assuming
hang in
they're
there
all
with-
gonna get, they're gonna
Hang in
get
there
back.
with the L thing, because it's going to become an important plot point. The L thing. So just want to say
Well,
that.
I hope so. So yeah, so that's where I am, Chance. Like I feel like kind of the opposite. Whereas at least in 3, I felt like they're all together having a good time in this mall brawl. So sorry, go ahead.
No, it comes together well. And then Ashley and I also just started the Terminal List with Chris Pratt on Amazon Prime. We just watched the first episode, which I thought was pretty good. I listened to the book on Audible. It is extremely well written book. I was really, really impressed with the book. So far, the show has been decent. Ashley liked it at least, so we'll get to keep watching it. Pretty different than the book though, and which I kind of makes sense. The book is very intense and pretty graphic, and the show isn't nearly as much. And I love Chris Pratt. I really have a hard time picturing him as this character though. And I
Chance,
don't.
it's so funny you say that. I can't take Chris Pratt serious anymore. After Jurassic World Dominion, I'm like, you're a bad actor. Just you should have stuck with Andy Dwyer and Star Lord because I whenever I think of Chris Pratt now, I'm just like, oh gosh, I can't take it serious. Sorry, Chris Pratt.
His
I thought you
no,
were
it's
so good in The Office, or I mean in Parks and Rec and Star Lord, and now
Well,
I'm
he's
just
gonna be
like,
our new Mario, so you better
oh
get used to him.
God. Go ahead, Jim.
yeah, but Mario ought to be pretty goofy, right? Like I think he
Yeah,
might
that
make a
defends
good
Dan's argument though.
might make a really good Mario, and I hate to tell him like or tell him I'm not going to tell him anything. I hate to be like you can only be Andy Dwyer and Star Lord because that's just like, but yeah, it doesn't feel right. And it's really interesting because the reason that I picked up the audiobook was because I saw they were making a series about it. And so as I'm listening to the audiobook, I'm picturing Chris Pratt the entire time as this character, and it makes all the sense in the world to me. I'm like, this is perfect. It's awesome. And then I'm like playing Ghost Recon at the same time, and I'm like pretending that the Sicarios are all the same guy. Like, I don't know. It made all this sense, and then I'm watching it, and I'm like, it just doesn't add up.
I'll
But it's
jump
still a
in here.
decent show.
So thank you, BubbleBoy. We completed both seasons of Ted Lasso. So here's my thoughts, you guys. It's a good show. Is it one of the tops, one of the greats? No. Like I described it, I think I described it perfectly. This is a higher tier comedy show made for people who love Big Bang Theory and Psych with more
No,
cussing.
because I've never
Yes, it
seen either
is.
one of those. I've
Oh,
never seen
well,
either
then
one
you
of
would
those.
love those. But let me finish,
And
BubbleBoy.
no, because hold
Let
on,
me
and
finish.
you have to
Let me
put it in
finish.
context of when it came out and all that.
It came out last year, and the last season just came out last year, didn't it
No, the
not?
first season came out of not nowhere because he
He
had that
was a
skit going.
character
It was
exactly on
yeah,
NBC.
it
Yes,
was
I know his origins. I did watch
prime
that.
pandemic time.
Okay, you're right. It is a very lift me up kind of show. It is not. I praise it. You're right. All the praise towards it's just it makes you feel good and emotional at times, right? But as far as a comedic show, I don't think it's that funny. I think it's cheesy at times. The best character is Roy Kent, and just because he's cussing all the time, and also the assistant coach, I can't remember his name right now, but that episode where that was just focused on
Beard.
him that made all the sense in the world. That's like one of my favorite episodes because that's how he is. He is a weirdo, and I was like, they're totally just. That was a great episode to me. The Christmas episode was very all up in my feels. Great episode. Okay, with the bad breath, hilarious. It's good, but I'm sorry, you guys. There are definitely. It's not a top 5. I don't know if it would be a top 10.
Give me your
Allie
top
loves it.
2 that you think are better than it.
Comedic shows,
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld and Simpsons, hands down, way better. Like it's not even close. And The Office and Parks and Rec, all better than Ted Lasso. Comedic wise, absolutely, and feel good parts as well in those shows, and drama. But as far as a feel good show, yeah, it's up there. But as an all around, no. Jose, I like it. It's just not. It's
You
not
know
a top
what
show.
Roy Kent's next big role is, right?
He was in a commercial. I saw him in a commercial for something, which I was like, I know him now, Roy Kent.
He's in a post-credit scene for a recent movie that came out.
Oh, a Marvel movie? Don't tell me then. Don't tell me. Well, good.
Okay.
I like Roy Kent. That's great. And
I
I know,
love him.
and he
I
was
saw it
in
and
Game
I
of
was
Thrones
just
too,
like,
right? Or something. I don't know. I think he is. I'm pretty sure he is.
I
Look
don't
that
know.
up.
I'm asking.
I like Roy Kent. Sorry. I like Roy Kent. I like this. I like the surrounding cast. I actually think Ted Lasso isn't as funny as I was anticipating him to be as being the center of this story, but good themes with the depression or the anxiety attacks. It's good. There's good education in this show as well. It's a feel good show. Sometimes I don't know what those dang Brits are saying. Sometimes, they just got that dang dirty Brit
you don't
accent.
love Danny Rojas?
Oh, I love Danny Rojas, yeah, but I appreciated him more because he was in the Forza Horizon. I remember everyone was freaking out about Danny Rojas being in the Forza Horizon 5 commercial. So they have good surrounding characters. Just as far as Ted Lasso is concerned, I'm like, man, maybe I just like everyone around him, kind of like maybe Michael Scott. So good show. Enjoyed it. If I still have Apple TV Plus, I'll watch the next season. Otherwise, I'm not going to pay for that. Nathan, by the way, I saw that coming way at the beginning. I'm like, this guy, that dang Nate, he's going to be SVP.
I did too, for the record.
Yeah,
I called it.
I remember
like,
Allie was like shocked, and I was like, "Are you serious, Allie? Like, you didn't see that coming?" I saw from a mile away. But anyway, the other show I watched, you guys, holy crap, Better Call Saul. Wow, what a show! I am blown away by this. I remember I watched the first 2 seasons of Better Call Saul. I'm like, this show is not that good. What are they thinking? When we went back, we couldn't stop watching it we binged everything. We caught up to where we were watching it night by night, the past like 4 episodes. Guys, if you love Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul is up there. It ties so much together, and it does. What's really awesome about Better Call Saul is it tells a completely unique story, but it includes some of the characters from Breaking Bad so well, but it's got its own unique and incredible identity. It's a love story at its heart. Guys, I don't know if you've been watching it. You probably haven't.
I
Better
tried. I
Call Saul.
did the first season and I
I know,
just
and
didn't get.
it's rough, but similar to The Wire, those
How many
HBO
seasons
shows.
are there?
6.
And
It
it ended, right? Like it's
it's
done,
it is
ended.
done. I
Yep.
Yeah,
saw
the
the final
finale got
episode.
like a 10 out of 10 on
Yeah,
IGN. They
you
love the
guys,
finale.
and it was. I don't want to say anything. Just it is real, guys. It's worth your time. So shout out to Better Call Saul. Shout out to Bob Odenkirk. Just great actor. The whole guys, I'm telling you, it's worth your time. And then I just wanted to say quickly, I've been sucked into Cyberpunk, still playing. I'm gonna go for 1,000 out of 1,000. I can't. I think about this game now all the time. It's crazy.
Attaboy.
And Chance, I saw your playtime. Man, you put in work too. So I was like, I
Yeah,
get
I
it
think
now.
I got just under 100 hours.
Oh my gosh, it's just the more I play it, like Jose said last week, it was a slow
Great
burn.
game.
Or I'm impressed by, especially visually with the OLED.
Yep.
Holy,
Yep.
Jose,
Yeah, with
you
the
said that
OLED
too.
is insane.
Especially
I was like, dude, it's
at
so
night.
good.
Oh my gosh! Like, and I compared it to my TV upstairs, which is a pretty good TV. I'm like, this looks so much better on the OLED. And when the weather effects, the rain and the sandstorms, I didn't even know that was like in there. And I'm like, talk about an atmospheric. You feel like you're in Blade Runner, and they did a great job with that. And some of the the characters and the acting as well, like during the cutscenes, like I'm appreciating more. It's so sad that what happened with this game, because if it would have just don't release it on another previous gen, it's a game of the year contender for me last year. It's game of the year contender for me this year because I'm
2
playing
years
it this
ago.
year.
It
All
was
right, yeah, it
2020.
was 2020. Oh my gosh. So yeah, but at the same time, CG Project Red, you shouldn't have done us dirty. You shouldn't have released it in the state that it was in. It needed to more time. Guys, developers, as we're seeing now, so many delays. Fine, take your time making these games. Anyone else quickly on what they're playing? Jose, have you started GTA 5? No, you haven't. You're still in
No,
Inside.
I
Really
haven't.
quick. Yeah, that's
Sorry,
fine.
because of work. But
No,
I have
it's
a
fine.
question for you. Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm in Inside, and I'm pretty
Oh
far, I
yeah.
think.
No,
It's a
wait,
very cool
spoiler
game.
warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Before your question.
My
Inside.
question
Everyone go
is,
play
and
it.
I spent like 30 minutes on this one thing,
Mhm.
and I was like, I do not know what to do. It's like I have to climb up a ladder, and there's this like booming sound coming, and you have to time it. And if you're not in
Yeah,
shelter by the
yeah.
boom, you
Remember
get
that, Chan?
exploded. There's a part where you go up the ladder, and
Uh-huh.
there's like this thing that I can turn in a giant circle to block me,
Uh-huh.
and I can block me to get on top of the platform, but then I can't jump down fast enough to get
Just look up that
undercover.
chapter on there. It's been too long, but that place was really cool. The audio, Jose, with your headphones, I remember that was like really cool. But yeah, just
Yeah.
look it up, man. This is even. I'm shocked. Bacon, looks like you outsmarted Jose here because Jose is stuck on something.
Yeah. Well, he might have looked it up too. Come on, don't
Yeah,
shove me down a
that's
little
true.
bit.
But you're right.
Chance?
That's easy to look up. And Jose, gosh, great. I can't wait. We'll talk about that. Maybe we should bring Bacon on for the review and spoiler cast on that one. BubbleBoy, anything special you've been playing?
I'm about to wrap up Ghost Recon Wildlands, just still having a blast.
Great game. And by the way, Ubisoft is having a huge sale. So if you want to pick up the DLC, go pick it up. Highly recommended. It is a fun 1500 out of 1500 that you can go for. Chipotle Bear, go ahead. What really quick?
Just a quick. So I actually made a mistake recently, but if you're a PC gamer right now on humble.com, I don't know if it's humble.com, just look up Humble. They have a game sale right now for $30. You can get all of the Resident Evils except 8. You can get literally 0 through 7 for $30 right now on Humble if you're a Steam gamer. So check that out if you want to play on PC.
And then the CD keys, is that the website? They have you can get 3 months for $24 on the Game Pass Ultimate. So stack them up, boys.
And Dan's muted. All right, love it.
Boys and girls. Sorry, boys and girls.
And Dan's still muted. He keeps talking over here, though.
It's
Sorry
cool.
about
What
that.
I
Pregnant
think he
pause.
was trying to say is
Re- re-
now for everybody's favorite topic of the week.
No, I was gonna say, Jose,
The
that's an
best food
incredible
we've
deal.
had.
That's what?
Oh, it is, yeah.
7 games. So 30 divided by 7 is what? That's not even 7 times 4.
It's
7
like
times...
$6 a game.
Yeah,
dude.
not even.
Yeah.
It's less than $5 a game.
And granted, they should pay you to play 6 instead of
I was
you paying
just gonna
for
say,
it, but you gotta balance
like,
it out. I was like,
and they once you send in the achievement for completing 6 with all 4 characters,
They refund your
get
money.
all your money back. Yeah.
Guys, before we jump into the favorite part, I just wanted to do a quick follow-up. We were talking about Asari and how they reproduce, and I have to read this because shout out to Misa Pony coming through in the clutch. And I had read this too, but I have to read this. The Asari is a race in Mass Effect, you guys, and they're all females. However, the Asari reproduction is very different from other forms of sexual reproduction. An Asari provides 2 copies of her own genes to her offspring, one of which is passed on unaltered. The second set of genes is altered in a unique process called melding. That's the word we were looking for, you guys. Melding, also known as the joining or the union. During the melding, the eyes of the Asari.
The union. That's what I was. That's the
well,
one I
they say
was
union,
joining in the union.
but melding, yes. The eyes of the Asari initiating the meld dilate as she consciously attunes her nervous system to her partners, sending and receiving electrical impulses directly through the skin. However, physical contact is not strictly necessary. A common phrase used before melding is embrace eternity, presumably to help focus the partner's mind. Effectively, the Asari and her partner briefly become one unified nervous system, sharing memories, thoughts, and feelings. The offspring is always an Asari, regardless of the species or sex of the father. And in the case of the offspring is of 2 Asari, the father is the one who does not give birth. So it's always, and they're always, I guess they're female, right? Chance?
Yeah, always. And I'm telling you, humans are going to get there too.
Yep, there we go. Females are the most powerful species.
Yeah, we have that. It was like episode 4. We
titled it "Shout Out to the Asari," but there you go, guys. Look up Asari melding and union. If you don't look up Asari sex,
yeah,
look that.
It's the other word for it is infinite synergy.
Oh,
Jose, infinite synergy.
That's from what is that from?
It's from nothing.
All right, let's close the show like we always do with the best food we had this week. I will go first very quickly. Huge XOT shout out to my wife, Allie Willensick. Allie made these stuffed shells, you guys. Absolutely phenomenal. I had like 20 of them. Incredible. Huge shout out, Allie. I will always eat your stuffed shells anytime, babe. So shout out to Allie Willensick and her stuffed shells. Who wants to go next?
Jose,
I hope she never hears this.
Run the jingle.
That's what she said.
Not that one.
Oh, sorry. This jingle.
Popeyes.
Oh yeah, add one to the list, baby. It had been a minute, but I finally made it back to Popeyes. Standard.
Wait, what's your order? What's
sandwich.
your sandwich? Oh,
what'd you get though?
That's it. Just a spicy.
Spicy by itself.
And some fries. However, count them two, because they messed up. I got the strawberry lemonade that's like a slushy and the regular strawberry lemonade. And I enjoyed, so I had the regular one because that's what I wanted. Had that with the Popeyes, and then put the slushy one in the refrigerator, and a day later finished it off when it wasn't a slushy anymore. And it's just
Hey, have either of you had the strawberry cheesecake pie? Is it good? I've not tried it.
Chicken, Jose. I go to Popeyes for one reason only. I get the chicken and maybe the.
You gotta be experimental, but you gotta try the new stuff. You never know when you get a mixed snack wrap. You're gonna get a lot of McRibs out there that are not great, and then you get that mixed snack wrap. It makes it all worth it. Just throwing that out. My best meal this week. On Monday we had nachos at home, like a home dinner. But God, it's like that sounds like not a dinner, but man, it was delicious. Just making all the fixins and putting them all together, eating it, just getting all messy. And they sell the really, really like rubbery cheese that you get at like every sports arena around the country. Now it comes in cans at Target. So we got some of that.
That's how it typically comes. In like tub
but giant cans, right? Like these are like clearly for like a meal. I still didn't love it though. I'd go back. We usually do like the Tostitos cheese dip as our cheese. I'll probably go back to that next time. And then we also did breakfast for dinner. That's like one of our favorites. I made it last night. Good old biscuits and gravy, but we didn't hold the biscuits.
Hold the biscuits.
And eggs and stuff. God, it's just good, man. It's a classic go-to here at this household. So that's the best thing I had this week.
Shout out to breakfast for dinner. Just incredible. Guys, this has been Xbox Record This, episode 68. Thank you so much for listening. We were covering all kinds of crazy topics this week, but make sure you can follow me at Daddy DWALLY across all social media. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. Please write in. We love the shout outs. We love when we have people writing in with comments, questions, or concerns. And that's the best part of the show. So, Chipotle Bear, actually, BubbleBoy, assistant to the co-host, where can people find you?
Ooh, gosh, that's a really good question. Gateway High School, because I don't know.
Yeah, back to work. And assistant to the co-host, Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Chipotle_bear, and Instagram, Chipotle Bear.
Well, as always, you Asari lovers, embrace eternity and see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
See you online.
Whoa, Miss Lippy. The part of the story I don't like is that the little boy gave up looking for Happy after an hour. He didn't put posters up or anything. He just sat on the porch like a goon and waited. That little boy's got to think, you got a pet. You got a responsibility. If your dog is lost, you don't look for an hour and then call it quits. You get your ass out there and you find that dog.
Xbox Record This is a podcast created by Daniel Walenzik. You can follow him at Daddy DWALLY on all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_bear on Twitter. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoy N7. You can follow the show at Xbox Record This on all social media. If you'd like to find out more about the show, visit xboxrecordthis.com.